I think the smartest thing to do is just not really react. I mean, you can respond, like I responded, hey, Connor, the sport will move on without you. It has moved on without you for 3 years. None of us, none of these fighters, none of the stars, none of the superstars, none of the pay-per-view draws are bigger than the sport itself, and it will continue to move forward. But just no reaction, really. I mean, at some point, you're just like, hey, man, you pulled out with a pinky toe injury. I would have fought through it. Steve, you probably would have fought through it. I think more than anything, if we can fight in December, let's do it. I'm in. But the fact of the matter is, I've stayed ready since I left training camp for that June 29th fight, and I am staying ready to take a fight, any fight, if this fight doesn't look like it's happening in December.
Any idea where this came from? Why all of a sudden, Dana seems to say that he's not going to fight this year? Any idea what that is about?
There's no reason why Connor can't fight this year. Obviously, I can fight this year. I think obviously it comes down to scheduling. December makes a lot of sense. Obviously, November you got MSG. It's already kind of booked up. Before that, you got Abu Dhabi. So December is that big pay-per-view card, cap off the year with a huge pay-per-view, Chandler versus McGregor. Makes a lot of sense. Dana, as much as we love him, he has also said some things that were just absolutely false in press conferences and whatnot, which that's his job. His job is to sometimes give you the exact information. His job is also sometimes to give you misinformation. So sometimes saying that the fight isn't happening this year might mean that this fight is happening this year. Just like he did when I already knew I was fighting June 29th. And I think right around the Super Bowl, whatever it was, February, he does the Pat McAfee show. I'm about to go into training camp, and he tells Pat McAfee that Connor and Chandler aren't fighting till the end of the year, probably. So you can read between the lines, but as far as I know, this fight's got some very huge prospects to fight by the end of the year. And Connor's ready. I'm ready. Let's sign on the dotted line.
When you look back at all that's gone on and you got to do the show, any regrets getting into this business here with Connor, or if you had to do it, you do it again? It's a once in a lifetime fight to have.
Yeah, no regrets whatsoever. I mean, I think more than anything, I'm not here to educate people on the math of how long I've been sitting out. If you really think about it, I got the phone call January the 1st of February, basically, 2023. And then we filmed The Ultimate Fighter for a month and a half. Then they cut The Ultimate Fighter together. I promoted The Ultimate Fighter, traveled around the country, promoted it. Then they aired The Ultimate Fighter for 12 weeks on ESPN, the epitome of the biggest sports network on the entire planet. And then we were supposed to fight in the fall. The original date was going to be, hey, you're going to fight in September after the show. That's less than 1 year ago right now. So these people who think I've been sitting out for 3 years and I've wasted 2.5 years, or I've wasted all of these fights, we were tied up, and we were also getting immense amount of promotion. So take any of those dudes who have slighted me and said I've been waiting, and then you give the flip side of being on The Ultimate Fighter against Conor McGregor, and then 12 weeks on ESPN. I got more promotion, probably made some pretty decent change. And I'm very happy with my decision. Now, it's time to fight. It's definitely time to fight. I've obviously am a guy who wants to stay active, and I have options to fight inside of the division, and some very good options. So this fight should happen in December. And if we don't know pretty darn soon, we'll see what happens.
So if not Connor, though, you want to try to get a fight in before the end of the year?
Yeah, ideally. I mean, I'm a fighter, and I've stayed very active. I mean, once again, I've only been signed with the organization since basically the end of September, or the end of 2022. First fight in January of 2020, or no, sorry, 2021. First fight in January of 2021, and until November of 2022, I had 5 fights against all top contenders, most of them ranked 2 or 3 in the world, and also a backup for the world title fight. Fought for a world title. Fight of the year 2021 against Justin Gaethje. I got the accolade here to prove it. The fans are starving for me to get back. I always take the hate and the criticism as a compliment, because I am a guy who brings a lot to the UFC octagon: the violence, the speed, the entertainment, the excitement. So yeah, I'm ready to fight, and it makes a lot of sense to make McGregor versus Chandler in December. There's no reason why we shouldn't. It's Vegas. It's going to cap off the end of the year 2024. Let's finish this storybook, and I'm ready to go out there and do it.
You kind of just did it, but last thing, make the pitch to Dana, to Conor. Let's get this contract done. Let's get this fight done in December.
Hey, we all got a job to do here. Conor's got a job to do to show up and train. I got a job to do, train and show up. We both got a job to fight, but the UFC also has a job as well. The UFC is the epitome of fight promotion on the planet. They are the only ones who can do it at this level. Dana White, Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard, these guys who are putting together the fights every single week, they are absolute savages. And if they don't make Chandler versus McGregor, then it's doing a huge disservice to not just the UFC, but the Ultimate Fighter franchise. We have to finish this story, and December makes a lot of sense. So Chandler versus McGregor in December. Fans start chirping at him. Conor's obviously chirping at him. I chirped back at Conor and said, "Hey, dude, just to let you know, nobody needs you, but I want to put my fist through your face."
Perfect. I was just thinking while you were saying that, if this doesn't happen in this promotion, Conor's got a promotion. Would you ever see yourself doing that?
Never say never, obviously, but man, I'm a UFC fighter through and through. That's what I'm saying. I say this out of respect for the UFC. What the UFC has done is absolutely ridiculous, especially because I have a unique perspective that I have fought outside of the UFC. The UFC puts fights together that make sense, that get people's athletic and exciting juices flowing. And I think they dropped the ball huge on this one if they don't make this fight. So I say that out of respect, and I got a sneaky suspicion there's no reason why we shouldn't fight in December. So let's book this thing for December. Everybody start talking about it. Send over the contract. Sounds like Conor's ready to sign it. And more than anything, we need to hold Conor accountable. Let's actually send him a contract and actually have him sign it, because it took him 6-8 months to sign the last one back in March or April. It was actually April, because it got announced at UFC 300 for us to fight June 29th. Send the contract over there to Ireland and see if he'll actually put pen to paper, because I do believe, I'm not going to say he's scared of Michael Chandler, but I do believe he would not have pulled out of the fight with a stubbed little pinky toe against anybody else in the world. I bring a different type of violence to the fight, a different type of violence to the octagon, and I think it's something that he is concerned about, so he has to be 100% ready whenever he steps in the octagon against Michael Chandler.